Okay, so now we just configured the router 1. We're done with the configuration for R1, and we just typed the show IP interface brief, and we found out that the serial 0 is not up yet. And the reason for that, because this router is dependent on the other router to be up also. So what we're gonna do quickly, we'll go to the other router and start configuring this from scratch, and basically just go through the same process. The only difference would be that the name and the IP addresses will be different. So I'm just gonna do the password, the router name, and the interfaces. Notice the interface here will be the other network, which is network 2.168.2.1, and we should not forget the no shutdown command. And also we need to do the serial 0/0, and that would be the 192.168.3.2. And we should also put the subnet mask, no shutdown. Now here, the interface, if we notice, it went up, and the protocol went up now. That's because the other interface is already pre-configured. And another important thing is that we didn't have to put the clock rate here because this is the DTE side, not the DCE side. So now this router is configured. If I go and type exit and another exit and do show IP interface brief, notice both interfaces are up, which is what we want. And the second thing, if we type show IP route, we see now we're getting 2 routes here, and that should be the same for the other router. Now the issue is that 2 routes is not enough, because we have 3 networks. We should have 3 routes, 1 for each network. And that's why the PCs, if we configure them, they will not be able to communicate, because we are missing that 3rd route, and that's why we have to configure the routing process. And let me first save the configuration on this router and close this router, and now we're going to assign IP address to the first PC, and we do that by going to the desktop, and we'll grab a second address in that network, and we should not forget to put the IP address on the default gateway, as we see here. So that's the router. Fast Ethernet address is our default gateway for this computer, and that's a computer IP address. And we do the same for the other one, the other computer, and that's going to be exactly the same. The only difference would be it's a different IP address. Will be 2 here, and the default gateway will be basically 2.1. How do I check my connectivity? I go to the IP to the command prompt. We type ipconfig, and it will tell me my IP address. I should be able to ping my gateway if my connections are configured right. And as you see, I am getting a reply, which means my gateway is configured right. Can I ping the PC that's on the other end, which is 1.2? Let's see if I can do that. As you could see, it immediately shows destination unreachable. And why is that? Because of one reason: we did not configure a routing table yet. This router, which is my right hand side, the router 2, does not know how to get to this network yet. And we have to teach this router how to get to here, and teach router 1 how to get to the other network, and this will make this ping go successfully. How do we do that? As a reminder, that's network 1, that is 2 to my right, and the one in between is number 3. So we have to get into router 1 and install static route. How do we do that? We first, as a reminder, let's just type show IP route. I only have 2 routes of type C directly connected. I need to put another route here. So I go to config T, I see IP route 192.168.2.0. That is the missing network. Remember, that's the one on the right side. And we put the subnet mask, and we put the next hop, which is the second router IP address, and that would be it. If we exit and type show IP route now, we see we have 3 routes, and that's how we should have it. That third route that's in the middle here is the static route. Now if we save our configuration so we don't lose what we have just done, we'll go to the other router and we do the same, and that's router 2. We have to put other route for network number 1, which is 1.0, and we do that by putting network address, subnet mask, the next hop address, which is the other router address from R2 here perspective would be R1, and we exit, and now we type show IP route. Notice now we have 3 routes, and we save our configuration. And now if we close this and go to the PC here and go to the command prompt, we were trying to ping this PC from here and we were not able to. Remember, that's PC2. If I type ipconfig, it tells you I am in the 2.2 network, in the 192.168.2.0 network, and my PC address is 2.2. I'm trying to get to the other computer, which is 1.2, and now I'm pinging, and we'll wait a few seconds because this packet tracer simulates the entire thing. As we see now, we get replies. All replies are successful. If I do more time, all my 4 replies are actually coming back successfully.